And if you will run away from your duty, then of fighting, then the whole world will follow you. So it makes sense to fight, at least to set a good example. So, and then in the today's verse, which we will be discussing, is 22nd number verse. Name parthasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana nanavaptam avaptavyam varta evacha karmani. In this, Krishna is saying to, O son of Pritha, there is no word prescribed for me within all the three planetary system, nor am I in the want of anything, nor have I a need to obtain anything, and yet I am engaged in prescribed duties. So here Krishna is like speaking of himself as a leader. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is in a sense the leader of the leaders. So, and Krishna is speaking in himself as a leader and taking in the position, and he is saying that I am not obliged to do anything. Krishna is saying that I am not obliged to do anything, but still I do it because the common men will follow me. And if I do anything wrong or if I escape from my duty, then common men will also follow me. So in that way, Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is taking placing himself in a role of a leader, which is actually so. And is a beautiful verse which comes in the Vedas, which says Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Bhunam Yovidhati Kaman. That there is we all are individually eternal beings. That we have this body, but this body transforms from the childhood to the youth to the basically then it grows more and then it becomes old and it decays and then it fall down and then we receive another body, we change bodies. In that way the soul is transmigrating from one body to another. So in that way there are many nityas or many eternal beings, just like how many of we are human beings are there or in this room. 1 2 3 4 5 6 6. But then there are some other living entities also, maybe some insects or microbes. So they are also being termed in the Vedic literature as living beings, because they have soul, they have the life symptoms. Similarly, the trees and plants also have life. This is being scientifically proven also. So in that way, there are 84 species of life, and there are so many living entities. But there is one supreme living entity who is there in the heart of every living entity, and who is residing with them, and who is fulfilling the needs of everyone. Just like if we go and just have a nice walk in the George Harrison Park or in the Bhagavad Gita Park, we see so big trees, big plants, and ducks, geese, and everyone. So who is fulfilling the demands of everyone? Who is giving them food? Who is giving them shelter? Or who is maintaining them? If we dig the soil, we find so many insects inside the soil. Who is fulfilling the needs and needs of those people? There are so many birds. Who is giving them food, shelter, and like that? So in that way, the scriptures describe Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam. That amongst the many eternal, there is one supreme eternal. So we living entities are being termed as eternal because although we leave body, we don't die. We are different from this body. And that is the breaking news of today. You can take it with you. And this is breaking news is being spoken by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. And it's actually liberating to know that we are not these bodies. So therefore, this is the good news, that when the body leaves, when the body dies, we don't die. And we just change the body. And we are eternal, we all want something eternal, something permanent in our life, a stability in our life. So this statement actually gives the stability in the life, that we are eternal. And the Supreme Eternal who is fulfilling the demands of all these individual eternals. So in that way it goes. Nitya Nityanam Chetana Chetanam Eko Vidhadham Yovidhati Kaman. It is one person who is fulfilling the needs of everyone. And that is how the principle of desire work in this world. Whatever we desire is it's like being placed in a universe, in that desire. And then depending upon how much qualified we are to receive that, whatever we need, depending upon our karma and the wish of the Supreme. That's how it works. For example, I may desire to have the richest car, so to have the most expensive car. Now, I may have the desire, but then it also depends upon my karma, like whether I have the capacity to pay for that, and whether that model is available or I can purchase it. So similar way, we can have so many desires, but these are being fulfilled by the one supreme being, and that supreme being is being told as a Krishna, is described as a Krishna in the ultimate summum bonum in in the scriptures, and he supplies the needs of everyone, and he is very compassionate also to everyone, and he is the sentient being, supreme sentient being, just like we are sentient, just like we have emotions, he also has emotion, just like we are living, he is a supreme living being. So then Krishna says that in this purport by Prabhupada, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is described in the Vedic literatures as follows. Tam Ishwaranam Paramam Maheshwaram, Tam Devatanam Paramam Cha Devatam, Patim Patinam Paramam Parastad Vidam Devam Bhuvanesham Idyam, Natasya Karyam Cha Karanam Cha Vidate, Natat Samascha Bhidikascha Drishyate, Parasya Shaktir Vivideva Shruyate, Swabhaviki Gyan Balakriya Cha. So we have like around many Upanishad in the Vedic literatures, of which one Upanishad is named as Shvetashvatar Upanishad. And in that, this is like there are two verses which comes for the glorification of the Lord. So it's also like quite natural when we go to whichever place, each place has its own speciality. So especially when we come to the Hare Krishna centers, so then we have the speciality that we in every morning and evening we sit to discuss the scriptures. So it's like natural for this place. So therefore we glorify the Lord. We are glorifying the Lord through this verse. And the verse says, the Supreme Lord is the controller of all other controllers. So one may be controller of his home, of his like office, or in that way. But in that way, like let's say, a prime minister may be controller of one country, or someone else may be controller of some domain. But Supreme Lord is the controller of all other controllers. Wow! And so that means he's powerful. He's powerful, and we like to have relationship with the. We aspire to have relationship with the powerful people in our life. We all aspire to have relationship with the powerful people, and we want to have a strong back, in the sense like who will back me if something goes wrong. So it gives a good impetus to have relationship with the Supreme Lord, because he's controller of the all controllers, and he's the greatest of all diverse planetary leaders. Usually people say that God is great, but Bhagavad Gita teaches us that how God is great. How God is so great, and then so so that we are trying to understand through this Bhagavad Gita discussion. He is the greatest of all diverse planetary leaders. There are different planets, there are different planetary leaders, but he is the greatest of all of them. Everyone is under his control. It is again said in a beautiful verse in the Bhagavatam that by the fear or by the instruction of the Supreme Lord, the sun rises at his destined moment. Sun is always on the time. It's not that sun is on a holiday. Does it happen that today sun is on off and sun is not there in the sky? By the order of the Supreme Lord, Pacific Ocean or any ocean stays in its boundary. I mean, of course, there are some natural calamities, but generally speaking, like those natural calamities are more because of the man-made follies. But generally speaking, like all the nature laws work in the communion, in the cooperation. By the mercy of the Supreme Lord, the ocean stays in its boundary, the sun rises on a time, the wind blows, and the mercy of the Supreme Lord, all the seasons happen like that. And by his instruction, like sun is moving on in his planetary orbit. It's not that sun is okay now I am going to on some other orbit. It's not happens like that way. So all living entities are delegated with particular power only by the Supreme Lord. They are not supreme themselves. So wherever we see power, so they are deriving power from the supreme power. Have you any time heard the story of the Prahlad Maharaj and Hiranyakashipu and Narsinghdev? So this is there's a like very beautiful painting of the Narsinghdev here. So Prahlad was like the son of Hiranyakashipu and he became devotee of Vishnu. Welcome. So at that time when Hiranyakashipu was challenging Prahlad, he was saying that you are a small boy and the whole world fears from me and you are not fearing from me. Rather, you have become the devotee of my enemy. Hiranyakashipu used to consider Vishnu as his enemy because Vishnu killed Hiranyaksh, his brother. So he had an enmity sort of feeling with the Supreme Lord. So he said, "You have become devotee of my enemy, and you are like you're so fearless. We have tried to kill you so many times, but you're so fearless. From where are you deriving this power? What is the source of your power?" And then Prahlad, in his innocence, as a small child, just like this girl is innocent, she's small. So it's like innocence of a small child. As a small child, Prahlad said, "My source of power, power is the same, which is the source of your power." So whoever is powerful, even if we see some demonic people, or even if we see, let's say, some terrorists being powerful in this world, whoever is powerful, he is powerful just because of the some grace of the Supreme Lord. Of course, a person may have the free will to misuse that grace and use it in a wrong way, but ultimately all power comes from the Supreme Lord. It's like this. It's like the source of power is the same, but one may use it in the right direction and one may misuse it. But source of power is the same. So everyone is under his control. All living entities are delegated with particular power only by the Supreme Lord. They are not supreme themselves. So Hiranyakashipu used to consider himself supreme. So finally Narsinghdev came from a pillar and he killed him because he was misusing his power. Yeah. So and then therefore he is also the worshipable by all demigods. Like we usually have lots conception of lots of demigods, like to say so that there is like a one supreme lord and then there are many demigods in the sense like who are partially having this power of the power of the like some power, less power than the some supernatural powers or like that. So he's worshipped by all demigods like Surya, Chandra, Indra, Varuna, Vayu, whoever is there like that. And so he's being worshipped by all the Ganesh and by all the demigods, and he's the supreme director of all directors. So in that way, he's a superpower in the sense like Krishna is being described that. Therefore, he's transcendental to all kinds of material leaders and controllers, and is worshipable by all. There is no one greater than him, and he's the supreme cause of all causes. So like this can be some immediate cause, and then further cause, then further cause, and further cause. And Krishna is the supreme cause of all causes. Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karan Karanam. It's being said. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karan Karanam. But these are very beautiful verses being spoken in the glorification of the Lord. When we hear it, even if we don't understand the meaning, of course we will try to understand the meaning, but even if we don't understand the meaning, still it's so much purifying. And it's so much like gives the immense like pious benefit. And it's being virtuous when heard and chant. And out of like one who is really fortunate, he gets the taste to understand Bhagavad Gita and read and hear it. It is only some fortunate people, it's like we are fortunate people who are sitting here. Not everyone will be interested in this. But one who is interested, he or she is really fortunate to have got interest in that. Because that is being achieved or received after lots and lots of pious activities and mercy. So, is a supreme cause of all causes. Prabhupada, many people used to come to him, many people from Europe, America. So then they would ask that who is God? So Prabhupada would give a simple example that let's say this girl has a father, and you have your own father, and their father has a father. So if one goes on to the fathers, and one comes to the point when one says that I don't have any father, then that is God. Someone is produced from someone. So in that way, if we go and go and go back, we can trace the history of the humanity coming from the Manu. It's being said that Manushyas are being produced from the Manu. Like therefore, they get the name Manushya from Manu. And therefore, it's a Manu Samhita scripture also, which is the prescribed duties of the human, of the mankind. But then Manu has come from other someone else, and then it all the ways goes to the Brahma, and then Brahma has come from the lotus, from the sprouting from the Narayan, and then Narayan, so it goes till the Krishna. So that is how the cycle goes. So when one comes to the point that one has no father, then that is Krishna. In very simple sum, in a very simple language, that is God. And so then it goes further. He does not possess bodily form like that of ordinary living entity. Or this is again very beautiful. Like we have this body, so Krishna also appears in the two-handed form, but his body is not like our body, in the sense, like it's not made of matter. Our body is made of matter, and we take birth being forced by the circumstances. For example, we don't have a choice. We don't have an option to choose our parents. Do we have? Did you had an option to choose your parents, and you got this body? Nobody has this option. I didn't have option to choose where I will take birth. I took birth in Delhi, so in India. So I didn't have an option. We are being forced by our karma to take birth at a particular place or in a particular type of body. But Krishna is not forced. So that is what Krishna is saying in this verse, that although I have no duty, no obligation, still I do work. I do work out of my own accord. He is not forced. Whenever Krishna is teaching Arjun Bhagavad Gita on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, it's not that Krishna is obliged to do so. It's not that Krishna is duty bound to do so. He is doing out of his own accord. When Krishna appears on this planet, it is not that he is duty bound or he is schedule bound, that now is the time to come for Supreme Lord to come. He comes out of his own accord. So Krishna is not bound by the natural man-made laws, because if he would be bound, then that laws would have been greater than the God. Then what kind of freedom he has? God means who has the complete freedom. So who is above the laws. So yeah. So he does not have the bodily form like that of ordinary living entities. There is no difference between his body and his soul. For us, we have difference between our body and our soul. But for Krishna, there is no difference between the body and the soul. That means his body is spiritual. For us, the soul is spiritual and the body is material. For Krishna, the body and soul are same, and that means they both are spiritual. So he is the absolute, all his senses are transcendental. That means the senses are not material, they are divya, they are transcendental. Any one of his senses can perform the action of any other sense. Now this is very beautifully explained through the two examples by Prabhupada. Does anybody ask you that we offer food to the God and we don't know whether God eats it or not? How do we know that God has taken the food? She asks like that. Like, okay. It's like we can explain it with multiple examples to make it very simple. Like in India, in Diwali, we exchange the gifts. Have you know? That we sometimes exchange gifts on the festivals like Christmas or Deepavali. Like, so let's say somebody gave you a gift of like a packed gift, and you took it to your home, to inside, and you brought some other gift and gave it back to that person. This is a like return accord. So though both were gifts in the sense. So, but then one gift which went inside had a like sweet name, maybe like, what do you say, petha, or maybe like, and the sweet which came outside is a different sweet. Maybe which sweet? One sweet which went inside was like a what do you say, petha, and the sweet which came outside, Shri Radha Gokulanand ki jai, Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The sweet which went inside was like something like a petha, and sweet which came outside was like, let's say, a cake. But both were packed. The same way, what goes inside is the bhoga when we offer it to the Lord in the prescribed way, and what comes outside is the prasad. And how Krishna takes it is like that as it is being said, any one of his senses can perform the action of any other sense. Although we invite Krishna to come and eat food, but Krishna can eat through his eyes. As soon as we, so that's the meaning of this verse. Any one of his sense can perform the action of any other sense. So if Krishna wants to eat, he can eat through his eyes. He can eat through his ears. I mean, he's not bound to eat by only mouth. Oh, isn't it amazing? So he can eat through his mouth also, but he can eat through it. Another example which comes is that when we see the Brahma was there. So how Brahma was born from the Krishna, from Narayan? Like there was Lakshmi sitting there, massaging the feet of Narayan. But Brahma was born out of the lotus of the from the navel, basically from the navel of the Narayan, without the help of Lakshmi. So it was not that Narayan had to engage in with Lakshmi and impregnate her before like Brahma could take birth. Just by his desire and his glancing at the Lakshmi, like Brahma was born. So that is how perfect Krishna and Krishna's body and his things are. So it is not like that if Krishna is desiring something or Supreme Lord is desiring something, then he will have to actually go and do the work. Simply his desire is sufficient, which is being explained. Therefore, no one is greater than or equal to him. His potencies are multifarious. His energies are spread everywhere, and thus his deeds are automatically performed as a natural consequence. Like as soon as Krishna desires, his energies execute that will. As soon as there is a Krishna's desire. Like in one scripture it's being said, I think in Bible or where, let there be creation. Like somewhere it's there, like let there be creation or let there be like that. So like even in the Vedas also it's being said that like Lord God desired, let there be creation. So then creation happened just like by his desire. And his energies and his servants are expert to carry out that desire. And so this example is given. So just by glancing at his energy, all the living entities are impregnated in the womb. and just by seeing any offering, Krishna can eat. So another we sing in the morning like this: Angani yasya sakalendra vritti manti pashyanti panti kalayanti chiram jaganti Ananda chinmay ras sadujvala vigrahasya govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. That whose Angani, like one anga, one basically sense organ can work the function of other sense organs like that. So like that. So it's like so that's how we understand. So to understand God, we understand him by hearing from the authorized scriptures and through the authorized devotee. That is the way we understand God. It is not that we bring God to our level to understand him. For example, if one is not in contact with the revealed scriptures, with the bona fide devotees and with the bona fide, let's say, guru or sampradaya, then what happens is that we have these eyes and we have these ears and we have our intellect and mind, of which we are so much proud of, and we think we can understand anything and everything. But let's say we cannot even understand technically that how this microphone is working. For this also we need the help of some technician to understand what has gone wrong with that. So sometimes in our natural egoistic state, we think that we know everything, or I can understand anything and everything. But we are so much, dependent to understand even a small chip of our smartphone if something goes wrong. So therefore, to understand Supreme Lord requires some humility, and in that humility, when we hear and read and discuss these scriptures from the bona fide devotees and from the authorized sources, then we understand. Just like that day we were discussing, like if a child wants to know who is the father or mother, who is the father, then how he can know? He or she can know if a child wants to know that who is the father. By inquiring from the mother. Otherwise, like if he goes on challenging, then it won't be able to understand. So this is how we understand the Supreme Lord. And it goes on like, thank you. So it goes on like that, since everything is in full opulence in the personality of Godhead and is existing in the full truth, there is no duty for the Supreme Personality of Godhead to perform. One who must receive the results of the work has some designated duty, but one who has nothing to achieve within the three planet system certainly has no duty. So in that way, again, it is being emphasized that Krishna's, like whatever Krishna is doing or whatever like is being done by the God, it is being done like a play. For him that doing that is like his pastimes. I mean, he is not duty bound to do, but he does it like his leela. And and yet Krishna is engaged in the battlefield of Kurukshetra as the leader of the Kshatriyas, because Kshatriyas are duty bound to give protection to the distress. Although he is above all the regulations of the revealed scriptures, he does not do anything that violates the revealed scriptures. So, whatever the Supreme Lord does, he does out of his own accord, and he is saying that he is doing it, he is out of his own will. Again, he is not duty bound, he does it like his play or his pastimes or his leela. like, like for example, when we are like stuck up in a traffic jam, so is it like our leela? Is it like we are doing it like as a play, or is it like we are being forced to be stuck up in a jam? So in that way, we are helplessly dependent on the circumstances around. But Krishna is not like he's being like helplessly dependent, or he's like bound up in any way. So this verse especially like is very like enlightening, and we can see that how basically like some of the ideas come is that one time when Srila Prabhupada was there, so one of the disciples painted the picture of the Supreme Lord, and he painted that the Supreme Lord is carrying the globe like this, just like the Atlas is carrying the globe and like that. So then they thought that okay, Supreme Lord is like moving all this world, so he must be very much tired, or he has so much pressure on it, so he was carrying the globe like that. So Supreme Lord Krishna is not like that type of like God. Again, we bring sometimes God to our imaginations, like the it's not like Atlas carrying the. He has all his energies who's carrying on all the function just by his desire. Just by his desire, everything is happening, and he's playing on his in his flute, and everything is happening by his desire. That is how the God is. But again, give example. One British gentleman came to the India, and he went to different temples. So in one temple he saw Devi Kali killing some asura. Then he said, she is definitely someone powerful, but she is not God. I mean, she is not supreme God, because she is engaged in killing the demon. Then he went to somewhere else, somewhere else. Every god, demigod was killing someone or doing some work. Then he went to Krishna temple, and then he saw Krishna playing on the flute. Said he must be God. Why? Because he is like enjoying. He's enjoying. He's just relaxing like that. He's not doing any work. So he must be Supreme Lord, because everyone else is doing work. So we all are forced to do work, and that's how we live and maintain ourselves. But Krishna is not supposed to do work. Krishna, but still everything happens by his desires. And yeah, and there are many contradictions also. For example, Krishna, it's being said that Supreme Lord is the oldest of all, oldest, and yet he is youngest. Like he's oldest, yet he is youngest. So it's not that the God is like somebody who has a very big beard and all those things and a big stick, and he's walking like that, and like he's not like that. So he's the oldest, and yet he is youngest. So he's like the we see Krishna. He's just like a 15-year, 16-year boy. And is not that kind of God that he has given his energies everywhere. Now his energies are exhausted. Now he has no energy. So it's like if something comes out of the God, expands from the God. For example, Brahma took birth from the God, and now God is feeling weak, or his energy is exhausted. He's not that type of God. And then that way Krishna and that way we understand from scriptures how Krishna is wonderful, and he actually demonstrated through his example just to show set ideal standard in the world. For instance, when Krishna was in Dwarka with his 16,108 wives, so he would set the example of an ideal household, that how ideal householder should be. So he would wake up every day early, and although his beautiful wife would be with him, sleeping, but he would wake up early to set standards that how should ideal householder should be. And then he would do his morning duties and like that. Then he would give some charity. Then he would go to his Rajya Sabha and like that. So he would take care of the kids. He would arrange for marriage of the kids, and he would listen to the complaints or the pleas of the citizens. He would rule nicely. He was expert at everything. Same way we see Lord Ramchandra, he's known as Maryada Purushottam. He's an ideal in every aspect. Lord Ramchandra's character, if you study, it is not that Lord Ramchandra was forced to do anything, but he was doing his Leela, and we see from his pastime that how he displayed the ideal character of a leader. So we all are searching for some leader, for some master in our life, and it really, if we today after this discussion, we contemplate and make Krishna as our leader, or make Lord Ram as a leader, then that would really help us in our life, because this search for the leader is always there. This search for the perfect leader and perfect master is always there. So we can study the Lord Ramchandra, that how he is ideal in every aspect. These are some of the thoughts. Do you have any question or something to say? Okay, okay, okay. Uh, okay, thanks for joining us. We will have some darshan of the Lord in next 15 minutes. There are some other thoughts and of that we can discuss more. But if anyone has any question in particular or any reflection that we can take, otherwise we can discuss more. We can go on for the next 10 minutes more. Any question or any thought? कुछ समझ में नहीं आया या फिर कुछ समझ में आया? If somebody is in Hindi like that English, any question, if anything you are unable to understand, or any clarification, any doubt? If not, then we will go towards the life of the Lord Ramchandra, and now it's discussion one by one. You can go, and you know all most of the devotees there know about the life of the Lord Ramchandra. Everybody knows Lord Ramayan. It's a very famous. So we can speak that how Lord Ramchandra acted like an ideal leader in his life. So that's like a group discussion. So we can start from there. And if you so you can speak one but like one incident, that how Lord Ramchandra acted as an ideal leader in his like basically pastimes. Would you like to say something? Yeah. So he's saying that Prabhu is saying that he left his kingdom, Lord Ramchandra, on the order of his father. So that shows that how leader is unattached, and he can sometimes give up the thing also, like that. So he showed by example. Anything you would like to say? He what did? What? Sorry. Hmm. Mm-hmm. 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 So like Sita example. So although like there was some claims like on the mother Sita and like that, so he just like hearing those that okay people are becoming disturbed because of this, so he just acted accordingly and sent her to the exile like that. So although it was difficult for him to bear separation from his dear wife, but still he acted in that way. Exactly. So basically, he took his duty in as a like more important than his personal loving affair with the mother Sita, in that sense. So yeah, we have classes every day from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. like this. Uh, yeah, and we have darshan in 10 minutes. The darshan of the Lordship will open in the 10 minutes or so. So maybe you can wait outside or you can join us. So in the 10 minutes we will have wonderful darshan of the Lords and Avarti. Thank you for joining. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you. Anything you would like to say? Yeah, yeah. So all the citizens were following him when he went to the exile. He told that you go back. I mean, he could have taken so much support from the citizens and like practically reversed the decision. So all the government, all the citizens were with him that no, we don't want you to go to exile. We don't want Bharat as a king. Okay, let Bharat be the king, but you don't go to exile. So all the citizens were with him, and he could have actually reversed the decision of like this of the Dashrath Maharaj and like that, like. But he didn't act it. He didn't rebel, and he actually reciprocated with the love of the citizens, but then sent back. Yeah. So. Mhm. Yeah. So as a good leader, as a like ideal leader, he protected his those who fought on his behalf. So that's another example that all the monkeys who fought on his behalf, he protected them. You would like to add something, sir, or maybe like okay, anything you would like to say? Okay. So in that way, we can see and understand that how Lord Ramchandra is the ideal leader. So in that way, we see that how Krishna is the ideal leader, and we are searching for the really ideal leader in our lives. And uh, uh, wha- practically, this is how the world moves, and this is how everyone moves. Whatever the leader does, whatever the great man works, the common man follows. And we discussed in the beginning of our session that in one sense we all are leaders. In one sense, we all have influence on someone or other. For example, a mother has an influence on the child from the beginning of life. She is said to be the first guru in one sense, and then so but however the mother and father acts, the child learns. So that's what Krishna is saying to Arjun, that you are Kshatriya, your duty is to fight, and now if you don't escape from your duty, then people will follow you, and then that will not set a good example like that. So, and then Krishna is saying that although I am not duty bound to do anything, but still I do all these things just to set an example. So this is how the it goes, and then we discuss that how Lord is like supreme, how Lord is great in the from the purport of the Bhagavad Gita. We will have the darshan of the beautiful Shishirada Gokulananda in few minutes. So till that time we can have some kirtan like that. Yeah. So thank you very much for your attention. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Who would like to have kirtan? You do kirtan? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. श्री श्री राधा गोकुलानंद की, श्री श्री सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान की, श्री श्री गौर निताय की। कि बजया जय गौरा चंदे, आरती को शोभा। कि बजया जय गौरा चंदे, आरती को शोभा। जानवी तत्वानी जग मन लोभा। जानवी तत्वानी जग मन लोभा। दक्षिणी निताय च वामे गदाधार। निकटे अद्वैताश्विनी वास चत्रधारा। गौराचार रत्न सिंहासने। गौराचार रत्न सिंहासने। आरती घोरे न भामा आदि देव गा। हरि आदि कोरी चमर धुलाया नारा संजय मुकुंदा भाति भुज आदि गाया शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे बाजे करताल शंखा मधुर मृदंगा बाजे परम रसाला बहु कोटि चंद्रदीनी वदन उज्ज्वला बन देते बनमाला कोरी झलमाला शिवा दुख नारदा तिमि गद गादा भगति विनोदादि के गौरार संपादा भगति विनोदादि के गौरार संपादा जय जय गौरचंदे आरती को शोभा जानवी तत्वानी जग मन लोभा गौरांगीरारती शोभा जग जन मान लोभा गौरांगीरारती शोभा जग जन मान लोभा गौरांगीरारतिक शोभा जग जन मान लोभा लोभा जग जन मान लोभा जग जन मान लोभा निताय गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौरा हरि बोल नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमति भक्ति वेदांता स्वामिनिति नामिने विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमति भक्ति वेदांता स्वामिनिति नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादिशतारिणी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna राधे जय सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान जय सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान जय गौरानिताय 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 जय गौरानिताय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद निताय गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौरा हरि बोल Hare Krishna devotees, we are going to sing Narsinga Arati prayers now. Just 2 minutes. So if you can take your seat. And then you can take prasadam outside the temple hall.
Namaste Narasimhaya Namaste Narasimhaya Namaste Narasimhaya Prahlad Lad Daine Prahlad Prahlad Lad Daine Hiranyakashipurvakshaha Shilatanka Khalaye Ito Nasimha Parato Nasimho Ito Nasimha Parato Nasimho Yato Yato Yamitato Nasimha Yato Yato Yamitato Nasimha Bahir Nasimho Hridaye Nasimho Bahir Nasimho Hridaye Narasimha Madim Sharanam Prapadye Simhamadim Tava Kara Kamalavare Naka Adhuta Shringa Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubhenga Keshavadhrita Narhari Rupa Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Tava Kara Kamalavare Nakha Adhuta Shringa Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubhenga Keshavadhrita Narhari Rupa Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Keshavadhrita Narhari Rupa Jaya Jagadish Hare, Jaya Jagadish Hare, Jaya Jagadish Hare. Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa, Jaya Jagadish Hare, Jaya Jagadish Hare, Jaya Jagadish Hare. Jaya Narasimha Dev, 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 Narasimha Dev, Narasimha Dev, Jaya Narasimha. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gauranande, Hari Bol.
Gracias, entonces, vamos a ver.